So I've always been a bow player in Monster Hunter, and even in Worlds, I found myself taking the bow to a next level with all the elemental status ailments and all the beautiful things the bow had to offer. I just found that that weapon class brought me so much joy, doing damage from afar, consistent DPS, and so on. And it looks like now there's this new bow feature where you can kind of shoot these weak spots on the monster, and then you get a kind of a free like dragon piercer type of attack. You'll see it a few times here, and I thought it was really, really cool. So the gameplay in this game, it really does feel like Worlds. I don't feel that it was like too different visually or gameplay wise than Worlds. But it definitely felt like I could interact with the map a lot more, which was a great addition. And overall, the combat in this game was really smooth. And so I'm running a 3060 Ti. My PC isn't anything spectacular, yet I'm able to run the game pretty well on high settings after doing the benchmark tests and receiving a pretty high score. I think it was like, I got a score of 15,000 or something like that, and it said anywhere between 12 and 20,000 is considered very playable. Now, this very first monster you have to fight, it's not really a walk in the park, and I think for anyone new to Monster Hunter who's trying out this beta will definitely struggle a little bit with this guy, but I think those experienced players know exactly how to take down this ferocious beast. So anyways, another feature I really wanted to talk about was the dual weapon feature. Now, it was interesting because I brought the heavy bow gun with the bow, and I honestly didn't use it that much. Now, the heavy bowgun was really cool because you can attack while mounted, which I thought was absolutely stunning and incredible. But I found myself resorting, once I got the monster sort of where I wanted it, in a little corner or a little cave, I found myself resorting back to the bow. So I'm really interested to see maybe later in the game when certain weapons synergize with each other and status ailments matter, where you could, stack up a status ailment with one weapon, and based on the armors and armor abilities and skills you have, use another weapon to gain some advantage. Now, is that advantage going to be greater than using an individual weapon? We'll see. And I'm just really curious to see about that. And that's one really interesting thing. Another thing to bring up is the fact that I don't know how it's going to be in the open world, how the story is going to progress through the open world, and it's just going to be really, really interesting to see how do we have to unlock the different maps, or is it kind of like a Breath of the Wild style where we can kind of just go where we want. I'm just really interested to see, is there more to it, less to it. I haven't looked too much into the actual story for spoilers, so I'm just as excited as all of you. I just wanted to talk about a couple of things that I noticed in this game that were interesting for sure. The first question I have is, are we going to be able to encounter stronger monsters by accident as we're progressing through the story? So for example, let's say I'm on like the second hunt of the game. Am I going to be running into like some crazy high level Rathian that's going to one-shot me? Is the Anjanath just going to come running up on me when I'm not ready to fight it? And how are those high-level monsters going to interact with the monsters that I am fighting? So is it something where I could use those monsters to my advantage? I guess only time will tell. And so I thought that the combat was really cool. I think the strategy aspect was very different than Worlds, because in this case, the monsters kind of travel in packs, and our request was to take out the alpha of the group. But in order to do that, we had to throw a dung at it so that it would separate from its peers. Yet after a few minutes, it would constantly try to go back to its peers. So I really hope there is more map interaction and a social and environmental aspect to the game. I know in my last video I talked about the story aspect, so that's obviously going to be there, but this video is more focused on the combat. Now, in the combat, I feel that it's really smooth. One area with the bow that I sort of wish that they changed was the default controls on the PC, because I always found that, like, and most good bow players would always switch their controls to use like a different key bindings, and it was kind of considered the default for every bow player. I guess to each his own, but that was just kind of a quality of life improvement. But anyways, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and please let me know what you think of the Monster Hunter Wilds beta and how excited you are for the release of Monster Hunter Wilds. And if you enjoy this video and want to see more like it, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like the video if you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.